Okay, this is the game plan. A really good friend of mine gave me these two Raycor fuel filters. We're gonna separate the two of them, and then we're gonna take it out in the bus and mock up a new fuel filter bracket. There's a bunch of spots on the frame I need to touch up, scratches and just, you know, stuff from getting it in the bus. So I want to touch up some of the silver spots where this bolts is silver. So if I got to make a second bracket to hold this thing square, then now's the time to weld and fabricate the bracket. So while everything's out of the way, we'll do paint touch-ups, clean up, and there's a rust spot that I want to weld up in the frame.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm an artist. Sorry to interrupt this video. I just wanted to give a live update. I had COVID for the second time this Christmas. That put a stop to everything for me. I had an antibodies test done in April this year, and I had the antibodies because I had the same sickness last December, but it was a lot worse. So now I'm battling pneumonia, and really nothing's getting done. And, you know, enough about me. Anyways, just to give you a heads up of this video, there is some adult language in it, so be warned. I definitely hurt myself and angered myself. It's not in chronological order. I missed the video. I figured I'd put it out anyway. This is 11th Hour Custom.
So I'm gonna take these apart. So I gotta get the right fittings for these. It'd be nice to run two, but I really don't need to. It's gonna take up more room. So I'm hoping we can mock up something from the original bracket, and I won't have to weld the top side. I'm just gonna weld a lower bracket to mount this bottom clamp, and then that'll be it. And we'll just touch it up. Abracadabra. So that's what we gotta mock up. So there's our filter. See, I have this thing too, which is gonna use as the PCV ventilator for the motor, and put that somewhere. If not, I'll just make a bracket, my own bracket, and we'll mount it somewhere out of the way. Okay, this is the original fuel filter bracket right there. Man, look at that. Like it was made for it. Like it was a standard size. Here's the problem. Is this. The air cleaner goes right here. Right behind here. Which maybe we might have to put that in to mock this up. So I'm thinking we loosen these clamps and turn it, and then we can run the fuel line down in here. But I think the air cleaner is going to dictate how high we can go. So either way, I got to make a bracket on that frame rail right there, kind of like the top one. So we'll get it in place and we'll get it bolted up close, and then I'll make a bracket like the top one there with the support and everything, and we can weld that in and just paint it right there, and then bolt this in place, and that'll be that. At least you know, we don't have to modify the top bracket. Okay, so before the sun sets, this is our problem. So this is where the air cleaner goes, and you can see we won't be able to get this element out. I want to get both of these on and bolted in place and put the air cleaner in and make sure I have everything the right way, and then we'll figure out what to do with this thing. It's the next day, and I got the side bin open here for the air cleaner. I think the clamp goes on the bottom like this, but we're gonna put these in and see how much clearance we got. I'll show you what we're dealing with here, so you can see where the nuts are right here. You probably put a box end on it. There's not a lot of wiggle room. Last year I had a bird's nest up here, so those are all snugged up. Here's the air cleaner. And there's a piece of rubber that goes on this thing here. Clamps down somewhat. And then that'll totally be in the way of the fuel filter. Shit. We might have to move it like out here. So there's not a lot of stuff down here, but I really don't want it hanging in between the frame rails. I'd rather have it out of the way of taking a beating from rocks and stones. So the closer we can get it to this area, the better. I'm thinking we're just gonna have to cut this bracket off, salvage it, move it out to like here. This would have to go here, right? But the problem is you got to take this fuel filter out here like this, high enough to get this out. So that's the kind of clearance we need. So either way, we're gonna have to cut this bracket off. So that's number 1. Alright, this is gonna seem barbaric. It's the only way I can think of to do this. The only other real option is that we have to take the air cleaner out every time we pull the fuel filter, which isn't bad, but you know what, you want to be clear of this bracket. Okay, so here's where I'm thinking about mounting it. Now the brackets may not be on an angle like that, but if you look, the drain's gonna go right through that hole in the frame, which that'll kind of keep it centered there. And I think it's a decent distance away. The only problem is that no matter what, I'm gonna have to remove the air cleaner, get the element out, which isn't a big deal. I guess in a way it forces you to check the air cleaner too. The key is having this clamp out of the way of the lid. So, I mean, with this door that opens, the air cleaner goes right out that side. Looks like it's gonna have to go over 3 inches, 2.5 inches maybe. But everything else will be in the clear. I think that's a decent distance away from the exhaust, that it's not gonna cause it to evaporate or anything. Not that that would happen, but you know, it gets hot back here. But, I mean, it's only a couple inches away from where it was, so I think where we're at's decent. We could move it over here. See if I could salvage that upper bracket. And if not, I'm just gonna make 2 offset brackets, I think. I'm gonna make a template. Okay. So now, that's tighter. There's the temporary mock-up. And then we're gonna take this here, make sure we're lined up. Okay, so this will be like the new bracket. And we just gotta make a lower one. And then a couple gussets. This is fabricating. Piece of tape there, piece of tape here. And I'll hold it in place like that. This will give us the angle. Let me show you what I did here. So these are the templates I made for the Raycor fuel filter brackets. And then really they should form the frame rail in the back, like so. So this is the top one, which is this one here. So I laid it out on a piece of steel, like so, traced it out. And the front wasn't long enough, so I just copied the one off of this one, which is long enough. So I made the front a little longer, and then I cut this out with a plasma cutter. I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner like this. Draw a line and then take a torch and heat up and bend this into shape. Now, I know it's not a perfect 90. it may have to go in a little bit to mate up to the frame rails. So I'm going to get it close and then go outside and clamp it like in position while the rake core's hanging there from the rope. And just draw lines, heat up on the line, and then I'm going to hammer it down into shape. Something in there is not friendly. Sounds like galvanizing. Ooh, hot. Let's heat this side up and keep rolling. Just too much curve in it. But I kind of want to show you where I'm at, what the brackets look like. It's not like a super tight fit, and there's a little bit of, you know, maybe a little bit of filling, but for what it is, I think it's fine. So we can take this bracket out now, and we're going to take a punch and mark those two brackets at their height and the corners, the bottom corners. Then disassemble the air cleaner, take some welding paper and tape up the motor mounts in some spots, because I don't want it to get too messed up. And we'll get this part done and we can get it tacked in. So that marks our location. So if all else fails and I can't get the rope and everything and the hose alignment to tack it in, then we have those dots to go off. Also, those dots should stay there when I clean the paint off. First things first is we're gonna take this off and get rid of it. That's what the welding paper's for. And then on the other side of this paper here in the battery bay, there's a this PCV vent filter that we're going to plumb the crank vents. That's going to be mounted on the other side of this wall. So I got to extend the one piece of flat stock to mount this. A piece that I actually cut off. Go figure, right? Okay, I'm going to give you an update on the frame and modifications we're making. This is a template for the hole I cut in the frame. We're going to cut that out of this. This is for the crankcase vent or filter. So this is prepped. We're going to fill this groove in with weld. The filter's weld there. Then we, oh, you know what? We didn't prep this side, so that's got to be ground down. And then we cut this rust hole out, and I cut a hole. I drilled 2 holes through the bottom frame here, and I'm going to plan on putting a plastic plug in there. There's a hole down there through 2 frames to act like a drain. And there was a lot of rust building up, which is why the bottom blew out. So I want to cut that piece, probably weld this one in first, and we'll work our way around. So hopefully today we'll be at least primering those pieces and getting them ready for paint. I don't know if I'll be painting or not. God damn it. Fucking piece of angle iron. Who the fuck put that up there? It should be fucking executed. So I'll hang up here. Stupidest fucking thing. Jesus Christ. Fucking gouge your head. Nothing like that piss you off immediately. Fucking cut them corners off while I'm in here. Let's see if this piece fits.
cutting the corners off of that stupid fucking angle iron. Last piece of the filters. I think we're gonna have to cut back that support on the other side because of the bolts. I don't want to design something that I would hate to take apart. That'll clear any nuts or bolts. It'll still be strong. Alright, let's go test fit it. And we'll tack it in place. Oh, I'm tired. I gotta clean up. I wanted a primer, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. Gotta chase that rust hole, unbolt that, make it welded up. So we're just gonna drill some holes for the PCV container and then vacuum up and call it a day. I'm beat. Okay, so today's the day I want to prep and get ready for primer in the engine bay of all the stuff that I welded yesterday. I have a helper today. He's helping cut grass. Let me show you what my thought process was with what I'm doing with doing touch-ups on the bus frame and primer and painting the stuff that I welded in for the changes I'm making. One was a rust hole, and I also had some fittings and the throttle. Well, it's a kickdown, the bracket that holds the kickdown, and the throttle springs. So I glass beaded that too. So hopefully, if I get primer mixed, I can paint these parts and the bare parts on the bus. So I just got to do a little block sanding and prep. And there's a hole in the passenger side that, like, it's just like embedded with rust. And I want to taper the hole with a die grinder and make it so it's like a drain. And I'm going to smooth the rust out, and I'm going to primer and paint that area again too, because it's all bubbled up. So I'll show you where that area is when I get out there. So I want to bevel this out here. Get rid of that rust and make it like a drain. So what I'm doing here is I got 400 wet sandpaper, and I'm scuffing up the scratch marks that I got from installing the motor along the frame rails. I'm gonna have to touch it up, so I might as well touch up the frame as well. A lot of those little orange spots are just from stuff landing on the paint. There's the same's over here too as well, right here. This is just rust from working in here with a grinder or touching stuff. The goats are eating a welding shield.
paper. Oh, come on. He went his head underneath and ripped a piece of paper. What are you doing? Bonk. Some of these rust spots are from when I was drilling holes for rivets for this aluminum wheel well. And they just landed on the metal. Of course they were hot and they rusted in place. So this is the backside of where I was just sanding. You can see it's, even after you wash it, it gets crap on it. But right here, it's got to be touched up. Like some of these spots here from the forks, they're going to be touched up with just black touch-up paint and a little bit of clear. And some of this stuff I'm going to clean up. So we're going to scuff this here and do probably both sides of the pipe because I'll wind up hitting, you know, those spots. Okay, I'm not done sanding, but I wanted to show something. Right here in the back of the bus is always a focal point when you lift the hood. So I wanted to show that like right here where I was grinding, you could see these grinder marks, and obviously this looks like crap. And any of the spots that I am block sanding, obviously the finish is going to come out better than what it was before because it's obviously going to be flatter. I did too much work to leave something like this go. So these are all, you know, they're not super important, but I want it to be as nice as I can for as long as I can. This is the only thing I'll have that's like custom looking. So I want it to look as best as I can. And I plan on taking it to shows. It's a good point to show people like prep work. This needs to be all white, like this white here, where it's, you know, it's flush and it's got perfect tooth. Something like this you can get away with leaving it like this and then getting a Scotch-Brite pad and lightly Scotch-Brite it so that it sticks on the outside of this. The flatter you block it out, the nicer the finish is going to be. This was all like rust in here, like failure point, you know, and water gathered here, so I kind of beveled this out a little bit, and I'm trying to make it like a drain. While I have the opportunity to make it nice, what's a few more weeks of work, really, in the long run, if I don't have to come back in here and watch my work fail as fast as it would if I just let it go. There's some spots I can't get to. Like this here. This area right here is nice and flat. And you can see all the little pimple areas there. Some filler primers that fill that in. But in this situation here, like most of the grind marks are gone. And I got some more silver coming in the mail from Custom Paints. That's the silver I use for this. So we started that process at 20 after 4, and it is now 20 after 5. So it took about an hour. Now, I know it won't be that in the video because I'll edit it out, and I wouldn't watch that, especially sanding. All right, so we're primering parts in the engine bay, well, brackets in the engine bay, and I'm primering parts here in the shop. Yeah, I forgot all about the camera during the primering process. I just got so involved. So I primered yesterday and a little today, and I sanded. And then I mixed up some silver base coat, and this is where I'm at with the silver. So I touched up all the areas. I got the brackets done, did along the frame rails where I scratched it up. Back there, the rust. Right here where I welded up the beam. So it all looks pretty good. The game plan is, as of right now, I'm going to unmask everything that's masked and then touch up literally with a brush either bare metal spots that are black, red, whatever, and then I'm going to mix up some clear and then clear everything I just did. So I'm going to unmask the frame rails and this stuff here. I did get some overspray here and there. It's mostly metallic. Some of that'll wash off, and it's not a big deal. This is an example of the touch-ups. So I got like a throwaway brush here, and this is just primer showing. So I'm just going to touch it up, and we'll shoot a little clear over it with blender solvent. These are from the forks. Hi. You're gonna get paint on you. Hi. Hi. No, you don't want that. Impossible. I'm gonna mix up some clear and try to keep Polly away from it. It'll be cat hair city. Okay, it's been about a day. So this is the first, it sat for about a day. Everything that I painted in clear coat sat for about a day. So we're back. This is like the first reveal since I'd been here. I'm gonna take a first look at the engine bay to see what the clear came out. I haven't been here. It rained a little bit yesterday, but it should have been cured by then. So we will see. So I gotta say, with the sun on it, it really looks horrible, I think. I was a little thin with the silver. So you can see it in the frame rail there. And over here, this is direct sunlight, but you can see where the primer's showing through. There's just spots with reflections and stuff with the silver that I just couldn't see. This looks nice though. I mean, this is really, it's a little thin here. This rail looks really nice. Flat. I'm not happy with that side though. That side looks terrible. I don't know if I'm gonna repaint it. I may have to let it go, I don't know. It's got 2 coats of clear on it. I even did the tops of the frame rails. Here, you can see it. Whoa. And the top of the balancer, I needed some touch up. But all in all, it's not bad. Is it show quality? I don't know. But this looks a lot better than it did. I mean, you know, like this kind of stuff here, you're never gonna see it, but I know it's solid. I don't know if I want to go through that again. Maybe I should. Like this right here could be touched up. It doesn't even feel like it has clear on it. So maybe I missed it completely. And you know what, like, a lot of times it takes direct sunlight to see the issues. So maybe we'll mix up a little bit of batch and just do a touch up, and I'll sand that area over there. And I don't like this, the way this inside frame rail looks here, all this rust. I don't know, maybe I'll do it today. This outlet box looks pretty good. It's nice and flat. I mean, you can still see a little grinder marks, but it's definitely better than it was. These look pretty good. This looks like I missed some on the back side. Looks like it could use a little more clear too. You know, it's a nice hot day. Maybe I'll just touch it up. I'm not going to be able to live with that. I can't live with it. We'll fix it. As you can see, without the sun, everything looks pretty good. But man, the sun is the telltale So I have 600 wet, and I'm gonna scuff it up lightly in those like 3 or 4 areas, and then just mix a little bit of silver, dust it on, mix a little more clear, and be done. So I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm trying to beat the rain. So if it starts raining, it's fine, because it's already coated. It's not like it's gonna rust. The thunder is back here. It looks like it's headed northeast, so it looks like it's right around us. Hopefully it misses. Oh, maybe it's coming my way. Shit. Alright, I guess I better take the warning. I got about 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll take the chances with the storm right now. And we'll go mix a little silver and get ready to spray that quick. Alright, so I sprayed some touch-ups over here on the backside, on this post, down the rail, and over here, and then on this post a little bit. I'll probably put another coat on in a minute. I didn't do this side yet over here, so I'm gonna do this next. Right there. I think we got it clear mixed up. Give that a few minutes, and then I'll do another coat. That's kind of heavy. I'll let it, and then we'll try to smooth it out. I mixed this clear in the silver cup. There's a little bit of, like a tiny bit of silver left, but that'll help cover what I might have missed. What? So we'll go check it in about 10-15 minutes, and we'll shoot another coat. It's had about 10 or 15 minutes to flash, and everything looks pretty good. The metallic's pretty heavy over here. I'm gonna try to blend that out with what I got left, and then I'm just gonna do another wet coat, because I'm gonna call it quit soon totally anyway. There's the thunder again, maybe because I came outside. Sunday, we're gonna do a second reveal in the engine bay, because the sun's blasting right into the engine bay, and we'll see what the patch-up job looks like. This will be a true test. This will be a little later today. You see the water got to it. There's some water stains on it. Must have got it yesterday. It's alright. That'll go away. So that looks pretty good. The rails look pretty good. There's not direct sunlight on the rails. It's amazing how much water got in here. Oh well. I'd like to say second time, third time's a charm, but this is probably the 5th time I've painted this engine bay. That looks pretty good. Even where the rust bumps were and all. Looks like I covered it well. So thanks for watching. If you're new or the first time you've seen this, make sure you hit subscribe, and make sure you hit like and leave a comment, please.